Good morning, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. I'm going to start off by enacting protocols called upon the lilac, fire dragon, earth and water, earth and fire dragon, Quine's pink dragon, golden orange dragon, Ezekiel, my two black dragons, black dragon from Saturn, and alpha dragon, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the Intergalactic Council, grandfather, grandmother, and the tribal women are also in attendance. And so it is. You must own your power. What is your power? Your power is your words of wisdom. Your power is your truth. Your power is your most authentic self. Your power is in your innermost being. It's what you've always had, but it's not something that you can get from a book. It's not something you can get from a master. It's not something that you can get. It's not something that you take credit for. But your truth is your truth. Your power is your power. It is not anybody else's, but it is strictly your power. But you must use it wisely. You must use it wisely, because if we don't use it wisely, then we're going to run with it and we're going to abuse that power. So with great power comes great responsibility, but who are you responsible for ultimately? Who are you most responsible for in your journey? The only person that you are truly responsible for is your true self, is your true nature, is your true journey. Your journey is to thrive on the ups and downs of that journey, is to thrive on the positive and the negative. But I think that you fight a lot. You win some, you lose some, you win some, you lose some, but you learn to fight another day. You learn to get back up. You learn to roll with the punches. You learn that everything is for your good. And if you weren't going through these things, they wouldn't have anything special for you. But maybe what's special for you is just opening a crystal store, is just being a good parent, is just being this, and it's just being that. But you don't take anything with you when you die. You don't take anything with you when you die. The only thing that you take with you is the I am presence, is your innermost being, is the most purified state, the most relaxed state, the most tangible, the most ungraspable, indescribable, the inseparable unity of life as it is. And I just want to take some time to share out. So please share out as I'm sharing out. And as I'm sharing out, please share out. And that is it for me. So I want to direct this message because enlightenment is quite like a video game. Enlightenment is like a game. We go from easy, we go from normal, we go to hard. And as we go through hard, then it's extra hard. Then it's extra, extra hard. But then your environment changes. There's different secret missions on the game. There's a different path that you can go on the game. There's a different way that you can go. You went right on this part of the game, and now you need to go left. There's more things to explore. You haven't got all the collectibles. You haven't achieved everything that you want to achieve. You haven't reached the higher state of consciousness, but we never really truly developed the high state of consciousness, because if we went fully overboard, we wouldn't make sense of this all. So even if we don't glimpse everything on the spiritual journey, that's fine. But it's like you just keep improving with each season of your life that you go through, with every progression of level that you go through. You got to upstage yourself. You got to outdo yourself. But how can you outdo yourself if you're not happy with where you are at right now? Because you'll never be happy to where you're going if you don't be happy right here, right now, fully in the present, fully immersed in the present, fully in your mastery of what's relevant right now. There has to be a relevancy to your message. What speaks to you right now? 2 years ago, I had a lot of vinegar. I had a lot of salt in my message. I had a lot of aggression in my message. I was very masculine. But now I'm more reserved. Now I'm more gentle. Now I'm more soft. I'm not trying to prove to people that they should respect me, because I respect myself. I love myself. I live a victorious lifestyle, and I live within the paradigm. I'm not living in an old paradigm. I'm not staying with the old message. You will outgrow people. You will uplift yourself. You will outgrow the people that once loved you. But that doesn't mean that you should have cast hate and dispersion on that. It's just you outgrow people. You outshine people. You outdo people. Because people are trying to stay within the old cause and effect. They're trying to stay within the old paradigm, and try to get something new out of it. They're trying to get something more expansive resonating from this area. But it's quite like, enlightenment is quite like a movie. It's quite like a movie or a sitcom that never ends, but the thing is, you have free choice. It's like going live here. You finally get to say what you want to say, not whatever society thinks you should say, or should feel, or should do things. You should have kids, you should have a 9 to 5, and work for 40 years, and work to the bone, and be unhappy, and then go experience life. No, you can experience life now if you live your truth. But you have to become the truth. You must acquire the truth, and you must have the direct experience of experiencing, of having these experiences of spirit in human form. You must have these intangible, indescribable, fantastical moments in order to have this wisdom, in order to have the gradual journey, in order to have the maturation within your soul, because you must mature with your message. It comes from a lot of suffering. It comes from a lot of heartache. It comes from a lot of clearing, a lot of emptying out. But if I stayed within that old paradigm, I wouldn't have grown with my message. I wouldn't have up-leveled. I wouldn't have ascended higher. I wouldn't have made the message the way that it is right now. I would have never made the lives that I made in Crystal River if I continued to have that salt and to have that vinegar instead of being humble, instead of being more graceful, living in praise, living in transcendence. But how can you be positive and negative? Because you must turn the negative into a positive, and as you turn the negative into a positive, you turn it into transcendence, because you are the container of all of it. So how can you transcend the positive and the negative? Because you win some, you lose some. You fail and you win. But you must thrive on how much you lose, because when you win and then you lose again, you're going to be a very bitter, sore loser. You're going to feel like your candy got taken away and you're a little kid and somebody stole your birthday, or they said something to you that you didn't like, and you took it to heart and you associated that with yourself. And we're all adults here. We're all trying to be enlightened. We're all trying to find ways to help people. But would you rather have peace, or would you rather be someone's savior? Would you rather have peace of mind, peace of heart, peace at night when you sleep? Would you rather walk in God's source energy's peace and have no peace? Would you rather live, or would you rather die? And I'm not talking about actual death. I'm talking about a metaphorical death. You know, if you walk among the night of the living dead and you stay within that old paradigm, you change your frequency just because you're around people that don't share the same frequency, then if everything is confirming to you what you are, then you need to change everything that you are and then transcend that and become the I am in its most purest form. Because the only person that you can truly get mad at is you, if you're not doing something about it. If you're not doing something to transcend what you want your life to be. If you want a quantum leap in another parallel reality, it's not very hard. It's actually done by simple tasks. It's actually done by just changing out the trash, moving the furniture, cleaning your house. We're all being fast-tracked on our spiritual journey, whether we like it or not. But we can't copy people. We can't take credit for certain people's journey and think that we're living our own journey, that we're living our own truth. Your truth has got to be your truth. You got to be White Wolf. But you got to be you. You can't be a picture of what you think enlightenment is. You have to become enlightenment. And it doesn't matter if it looks like what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if it's how I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if I'm smoking a cigar or what I'm doing. But that's my truth. That's what I do. That's how I live, and that's how I breathe. And I was listening to a song earlier that it was called Superman and It's Not Easy. We're all a superhero in this silly red sheet trying to search for the beautiful things and the wonderful, fantastical, transcendent things inside of ourselves. We're too focused on what man's doing. We're too focused on what everybody else is doing. When we really need to be focused on our vessel. When we really need to be focused on what's here. We really need to be focusing on what's in our infinite reality and not what everybody's reality is confirming what they are. We have to confirm what we are. Not what we're made of, but we're just the I am. That we're just the all-encompassing knowledge. That we're the knowledge of not knowing. And then we transcend that knowledge, and it's just pure knowing. There's no question. There's no belief. There's no assuming. There's no thinking. Emotions don't mean truth. Sensations don't mean truth. Your body don't mean truth. But your words of wisdom mean truth. Because they have heart healing activations, which allow others to explore themselves and to really own their fucking power. But we're not being burned at the stake this time. We're not being stopped this time. We're not having protesters come to our house and kick down our door because we're wanting to become enlightened and wanting to help people. We may have false idols. We may have people that want to stop us. We may have people say stuff on our live feeds because they don't resonate. They can say that we scam people. But does any of that have to do with our internal journey? Your ego will not allow you to embrace your lowest point. You hitting rock bottom. You not winning. You have to thrive on the negative in order to embrace the positive. Anything that's negative that happens to you, you can turn it around and use it to the best of your abilities, to use it to your advantage, to really use it as a standpoint of thriving on your spiritual journey. Just because something's negative doesn't mean that it's not for your benefit. Just because you're going through a tough time does not mean that it's always going to be like that all the time. And just because something didn't manifest for you right here in this exact moment does not mean that it won't ever happen for you. That's why it's so hard to hold the vision. That's why it's so hard to hold patience, because we feel like we're not working with enough intensity. We feel like we haven't had the baton bestowed to us, but we've had the batons bestowed to us, but we just don't feel like that. We are just not willing to resonate that high. We're just not willing to get over our own shitstorm and embrace who the fuck we are. Sometimes there's a moment for vinegar and salt, and sometimes there's a moment for sweet and tenderness. But there sort of has to be a balance of the two. There needs to be a moment where you are the masculine and the feminine, and it's just fucking truth. And it's not nilly-nallying around and just thinking that you eat vegetables and you meditate and you think that you're getting something from meditating, but really, you don't have to meditate to get on here and bestow the truth onto people and light a fire with under them, because sharing is truly is the most transcendent thing. You sharing is so beautiful that it makes people not feel so alone. It makes people feel that they're not going at this alone. But you got to own your power, and your power is your truth. And no matter what anyone else says against your truth, everybody can have perceptions of who they think you are. People, your partner, your friends, your family. It doesn't matter, God. But you can speak truth, and you could be bestowed a lot of power. And no matter what you say or how you said it, it is still truth. It is still worth something, and it's something worth fighting for. People are going to tell you a million ideas that you have implemented that are going to fail. People are going to be naysayers. People are going to attack you. But it doesn't matter, because they're the false self. They're not the true self. They're not the I amness. They're not the isness of being, the sentience of which all things are made and created and manifested and loved. just because someone said that you're not transcendent doesn't mean that you're transcendent. Just because you tell yourself something and talk yourself out of something does not mean that that's true. It's just a false narrative. But we just got to get to the point that we don't identify ourselves with this illusion. But we only identify ourselves with I am. And once we identify ourselves with I am, all of these other things go out the window. The body doesn't matter. The emotions, the sense perceptions, the sensations don't matter. All of these things that we give our power away to, even giving our power away to how the church feels about us, how society looks at us. If you want to wear a knight in shining armor, if that is your truth and how you express yourself, then do it. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you of claiming your power, owning it, and just imbibing who the fuck you are? What's stopping you from doing that? The only thing that's stopping me from going live and thinking that I'm going to make it worldwide one day and that I'm going to touch 1 million people's hearts is fucking me. And me second guessing myself, and me not wanting to change, and me not wanting to look at something, and me, when I don't associate myself with the me, but I just associate myself with the I. This is going to weed out the people that have the souls between the soulless. There's a lot of people that have followings, and they're deceiving people, and they're not doing it from a sincere place, from a truthful place, from an honest place. It's a lot harder to do this honestly instead of just giving your power to a negative entity. It's very easy to do that, but it's very hard to become the higher self, because the higher self just wants you to get over yourself. From you nilly-nallying around, from you second-guessing yourself, doubt, worry, all of these things, these lack beliefs, these false narratives, these things that have nothing to do with our true state of being. Can I quote the Bible? Can I quote this person? Can I quote that person? Can I pull this knowledge from my head? But it's got to be White Wolf. It's got to be White Wolf's knowledge. You came to watch White Wolf, so I got to be him. I got to be the I. I cannot be me, because me cannot do that. But the I can transcend everything, can manifest everything, can expect the miraculous when chaos is going around. But there's just got to be a point where you just have the vibration that you don't care about what the world thinks of you, but only what God thinks of you and your higher self think of you. And that you need to truly honor yourself and respect yourself, and know that you have to live in a spirit of praise, a victorious spirit, because we are the infinite power seeking intensely of her or his inner knowing, his inner truth, his innermost being, the knowledge that you've always had since the dawning of mankind. Your most authentic, sovereign, realistic truth. Reality becomes real when you realize that the 3D reality is not real, but the quantum is real. You don't believe. You can't assume. You can't think. You can't observe nothing so badly, so intensely, so this or so that, to the point where God just has to be indescribable. God cannot be graspable. Because if it has to be described, if it has to be proclaimed, if it has to be spoken into existence, then it's just a thing. Then it's just another silly little thing. And we're not the silly little human being in this body. We're not this silly human being in this body. We assume that we're this silly human being in this body. Instead of worrying about crossing the street, worrying about a car going to hit you, just know that you're going to cross the street. Just know that nobody's going to shake your vibration. Just know that you only surround yourself with the things that represents and confirms everything that you are. Because okay is not okay. Okay is just average. It's just, that's it. But how can you be the container of all of it if you don't become it? If you don't transcend the negative, transcend the positive, and become transcendent today and claim your fucking power and get over that imposter self and embrace the true self, that's when you start getting over yourself. That's when you start accumulating a lot of grace. That's when you start accumulating that you don't feel sorry for yourself, that you don't expect anything from anybody, that you have pure attachment to non-attachment, that you are just true to the word and you're true to your own word. Not anybody else's, not some master, not some person, not even this table, this cigar, anything. That you're just imbibing the higher self in its rich, purest, most emphatic, most exemplary form. But sometimes not even saying anything at all, not even saying anything, is the best medicine. Silence is invigorating. It's exhilarating. Because that's when the true magic happens. It's not by doing. It's not by rushing to do something. It's not causing resistance within your journey. But it's just going within yourself and accepting all the aspects, past, future, and present. Even the monad, the I am presence, 12 aspects of you in different realms, in different planes, in different universes, and accepting this self. And so what if you did bad here? And so what if you did good here and you still got burned at the stake? And so what if your past really sucked? Because you're never going to get to your future if you don't stay within what's relevant right now. The only way that you're going to mature is to express yourself in the most relevant way here, ever present. That's the only way to stay relevant. That's the only way to stay committed if you keep going. You just keep going and you don't stop no matter what happens. You just keep going and you don't stop. Because once you stop, once you roll over in a ball in the fetal position and you just quit, then the world's not going to change. But we don't change with the world. We change our inner world so that we can make the world a better place. I truly don't feel like we're trying to change the world or trying to make it into something that we want it to be. But we're changing the inner reality, the infinite reality, and transcending it into the absolute. But you don't need psychotherapy. You don't need to transcend false beliefs. You don't need to give your power away to scripture or give your power away to the way society wants you to think or wants you to dress or wants you to speak or your family or anything. For the first time, we get to have something to say. We get to have a say in this lifetime. We get to have a choice. We get to have a different cause and a different effect so that we can become something more. But we second guess ourselves all the time. Sometimes we really give in to our flesh. But the flesh does not have anything to do with you. The imposter self has nothing to do with you. We just give things greater meaning. We say that someone offends us, but that's not really possible. You never experience getting hurt. You never experience someone hurting you. That's not a real thing. When someone says that you made them feel bad, that's a delusion. That's a manipulation. And that's what they're trying to get us to be. They're trying to get us to say that no matter what happens, No matter whatever comes into my awareness, no matter whatever happens, I am not any of those things. That I am not this or that. But I am only just here to be, and I'm only here to see, and I'm only here living the dream, but I'm making it my own dream. I'm creating my own dream out of this. I'm not trying to mimic someone else's dream. I'm not trying to become something that I'm not. And I'm not going to try to become something that I'm not. But I am only becoming the higher self, the effortless perfection of what the higher self is. That's the only way that you can be. That is the only way that you encompass the I am presence in all aspects. And seeing source within this conventional reality. Because if you don't even see through the illusion of the only limitation that it is to be God in human form is the imposter self. That's the only limitation. That's the only true thing that limits us, that keeps us stagnant, is because we won't get over ourselves and we tell ourselves we can't do this, we can't do that, I won't do this, I'll never achieve that. Well, even when you feel like that you're not ready, you're actually more than ready. You're more than driven. You're more than powerful than you know. We just don't know how brilliant we really are. And sometimes it's not about taking credit. It's not about taking it for granted. But it's just about, I know that I don't know everything that I'm supposed to know. But when the moment comes in and I'm supposed to know it, and the doors of heaven drop down, and they speak it into existence through this vessel, through me, the true me, which is not me, but it's just the I am. That's all it is. It's not rocket science. It's not something that you're going to get from somebody. You can have so much help, you can have so much teachers, you can have so many books, you can have so many masters tell you this or that, you can watch stuff. But if you don't make the choice today to just say, fuck it, I'm going to claim my power, I'm going to be who I am, I'm going to imbibe who I am, I'm going to step into the highest light of my destiny, and there's not anything that's going to be in my way. But the only thing, the only obstacle that you put in your way is realizing that it's okay to have a bad day sometimes. Because we're all clearing things and awakening things out of the collective. And as we're awakening things out of the collective, we're truly feeling it. We're feeling anger. We're feeling drained. We're feeling this and we're feeling that. But appreciate the days where you don't have that much responsibility. Appreciate the days where you really tried hard. Appreciate your losses more than your wins, because if you never appreciate losing, you're truly never going to appreciate winning. And then when you lose, you're going to be a very bitter, sore loser. It's like we're on these training wheels. We're like on this bike. And we got to get to the point where we take the training wheels off and we stand on the bike and we let it kind of roll down this hill. We stand on the bike and balance ourselves and maybe stick one foot out and just be comfortable in all situations. That's what they're prepping you for, is to be comfortable, is to be calm, is to be collected, is to be transcendent in all ways, because you're the container of all of it. You're not just this and you're not just that, but you are all that there is, and you are only the isness of the I am and the sentience of your innermost being, the aqua river flow of God source energy. So make a decision here and now, and make a choice here And now, to truly shatter everything that does not serve, and to die before you die, and to truly surrender to the effortless perfection of the I am in its most purified form, and imbibe and claim and own and be all that you can be in this moment. Make the most of this moment. Be an example of expansion, and stay within the stretching zone. That's the only way you really become everything, is to keep stretching, is to keep expanding, is to keep trying, is to keep failing, is to keep winning. But things can be positive and things can be negative. And positive and the negative becomes transcendence. And when you become transcendence, you don't think anything, and you don't even think, but you don't associate yourself with anything that prohibits you from your highest calling. But let's get into some healing. This is White Wolf. Feel free to donate, and please share out to all the groups. Go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Please go to bitchute, MorningStar, I Am Movement. Check us out on Divine Ray. And also, like the I Am Movement page. Go to TikTok, MorningStar, at I Am Movement. And schedule an appointment with me or MorningStar. I'm a healer and she's a master intuitive. Shiti pamataya, atikim makaya, oshitim matoya, tati betataya, tati shanataya, atikendakaya, atitemataya, shiti pamataya, atikenakoya, atitemataya, titi pamatoya, shiti pamataya, atikemakaya, atitemataya, shiti pamataya, hope. I appreciate the time that we spent here today together, and the collaboration, the healing, the ascension, and the evolution of consciousness itself. But when I snap my fingers, you will come back too. You will become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is source in human form, which is the prophet of this incarnation, the journey, the striving, the challenge, the transcendence, becoming all that there is in this moment, and making the decision to die before you die, and to become the true self, not the imposter self, and to not give your power away to anybody, but to realize the power lies within your most authentic expression of your truth. But take a couple deep breaths and relax. Take one last deep breath and release more tension. I appreciate everybody who is on this broadcast. Please share out and feel free to donate as well. This is White Wolf, and please check us out on Instagram, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Go to our TikTok, MorningStar I Am Movement. Go to bitchute, MorningStar I Am Movement. And please like the I Am Movement page on Facebook as well. I capital space M capital space M capital. The rest is lowercase. And I hope you enjoyed the insight, and I hope you enjoyed the healing, and there will be much more to come. Please share out, and thank you all for joining me today. And if you are coming into the feed, please rewatch it. But we have to live our own truth, and we have to truly be honest with ourselves, and we got to do things a lot differently, and we got to step it up, and we got to do it for all the right reasons, not for all the wrong reasons, even though there's no right or wrong, but there's got to be truth, not deception. So I bless all of you, and you all have a wonderful day wherever you are at, day, night, afternoon. God bless.